Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you, it might not. All right, ew is all I have to say. I have no idea who this person is that is in my space trying to put on their little song and dance for me. This is quite a performance, what it is that I'm seeing. So I'm seeing like a little girl in my mind. This is a feminine energy. And this person knows that they have done wrong. I actually think this is a very nasty person. They know exactly what they're doing. They're full of vengeance. And I feel like they are filled with hatred and envy of a particular person. And for some of you, I'm getting this sense, okay, there are certain things I'm going to say something. For some of you, this may be a child that you're raising. You may have two children. One of them is extremely jealous and vengeful towards the other person. It's not innocent. It's not sweet. Their behaviors are very planned out. They're very targeted. They're very purposeful. And therefore, it's not a mistake. And therefore, it is not innocent. And that should change the way that you are dealing with this child. That you have to squash something. You have to nip something in the bud here. And I'm not saying it's their spirit, and I'm not saying like to harm them in any way. I'm just saying you have to learn, you have to look at, you have to know what you're looking at here. For others of you, I feel like this is a person that you're dealing as a grown adult, where this person tries to wear this mask of innocence, this mask of stupidity, or I'm so small and I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this person and they are like wringing their hands together, and they got caught doing something, and whatever they got caught doing is terrible. And it's something that you cannot reach adulthood and not know that it's wrong. And this person knew that it's wrong. And so then they got called out on it. And I'm seeing this person kind of like don the face of shame is what I want to say about that. Kind of lower their eyes, act like, they're going to start crying. Their lip is quivering. This is the persecutor starting to flip and wear the mask of the victim. And they're saying, "Are you mad?" They're like, "Are you mad? Because you found out something that they did. You found out something that they are, something that they tried to get away with here. And you shouldn't sweep that part of it under the rug." And this is a well-practiced routine. This is something well-versed. It is a manipulation. And this started, I'm seeing a father figure in childhood. So for some of you, if you're the mom, this may be something that you have to override or like speak to the father about. Like, just because this is a little girl or just because this is your child doesn't mean that you don't have a responsibility to hold them accountable for their actions and to teach them right from wrong. And this is something about getting at the intention of what this person has done, because I can see here that what they're doing, it's kind of giving like double speak. It's giving double life. It's giving face like change. It's giving game is what it's getting. It's giving game. This person's very good at game. You know what it is? It's giving negative Gemini energy. I'm not saying that this person is or isn't a Gemini. I'm just saying like they switch their faces. So the one side of this person, they're trying to what they're doing in switching their face whenever they get caught. And that's important too, because a truly remorseful person, that's not always their coming to Jesus moment. This person is only remorseful whenever they get caught. And a big part of that is charade and performance, because they don't want you to see too deeply into the situation, into them, into their motivations, and into why they did. They don't want you to see their devil nature, because if you did, you would demand that this person phoenixes up out of that. And you might potentially be genuinely angry, or you would be more angry than you actually are. And this is also a person, like through that repertoire, they're trying to separate you out from your anger. And I just want to remind you, anger is not abuse, okay? Not in a healthy person. They're different things. In some people, they can be fused, and those people need help. And they need to be removed from the people that they exploit and the people that they victimize. But anger in and of itself is information. All the feelings that you have are information, and also moves energy. Like when you connect with that, especially in this like transformative, healthy way. And I feel you should be angry with this person, or their victim, whoever they victimized here, should be angry with this person. So I feel this also could be a family dynamic. And honestly, you guys know that I love, Little Women, the story Little Women, but I cannot stand the marches for certain reasons. That's the family that they follow, because it is this like faux goodness that kind of comes through. It is this kind of song and dance. And there's like a scene in there, right, where I can't remember her name. Anne or something. Well, one of them burns Joe's manuscript, that a story that she had been writing, and it had taken her obviously forever. And all Joe wanted to be was a writer. It was near and dear to her heart. And in her anger, one of her siblings burned it, and it was petulant and it was jealousy. And immediately when Joe finds out, and I mean immediately, she's not even allowed to process her grief or have an emotion. Her mom is already saying, like, you should forgive her. You shouldn't go to bed angry. Like, it was huge. It was like, it was a death energy that she was being confronted with. And I feel like there is a childhood dynamic here that is being highlighted. So again, I don't know where you're at in the timeline, but I feel like that's what's gone on here, when actually no, like whoever they victimized has every right to be angry and potentially to stand up for themselves and potentially to put this person in their place. And that anger, because the card that I'm seeing in my mind is from one of my decks, and it's like the sun card, but it's also this phoenix energy. It's like that anger coming out shines a light on what this person did wrong. And this person is such a practiced manipulator, and I think they're just used to getting away with it because this person is cunning. They know what they're doing. And then they try to wear the mask of innocence. And I think this kind of goes back to what is innocence? Because this person, again, I'm seeing the childhood thing where when they were young and small and possibly female, that was equated for innocence. So somebody here just may not understand human beings in general, or women, because women are human beings. And just because you're a female doesn't mean that you're innocent. This also, there could be some misogynistic tendencies in this household where I'm seeing a father where this masculine, they refuse to hold women accountable because they think that women cannot be smart and cunning. They think that women cannot be intentionally vengeful or intentionally jealous or intentionally harmful. They only think that women are the softer creatures. And I feel like this father figure actually has been whipped around by that and tricked by that and potentially controlled. I'm from the Midwest in America, and you see this, in my opinion, you see this a lot in like the Midwest and the South. You see these kind of like dynamics go on. I've seen a lot of that like around me. And so I feel like that could be something here like that, because this person, whoever, I feel this is a feminine energy, but take it however it resonates. If it's not a feminine, then maybe this was just like their childhoodness, like, oh, well, children are very smart, okay? But it's like, oh, well, they couldn't possibly have done that on purpose. This is just a learning thing. But it's not just a learning thing with this person. They already know better, and that's the difference. And that's why I'm saying they wear this mask of innocence to cover their devil energy. And also, this is a switch of the focus. When this person starts to lip quiver, and they've been the persecutor in the situation, and boy, did they do it on purpose. But whenever they switch to the victim and their lip starts to quiver, the focus starts to shift. And I feel like they were able to manipulate this father or whoever this was into comforting them. Now, where they should be being disciplined or held accountable or explained why what they did was wrong and how they will be grounded for the next 2 weeks, instead they're being, oh, no, it's okay. And they're being soothed. It's a strong arming tactic. It is a manipulation tactic with this particular person. And this person is taking aim, and they're really in devil energy. They meant to harm. This person means to harm people. And I feel there's a karma here with the parentage, because it keeps coming back to that. You do not feed this and unleash this onto your community or onto your other child, whom you also have a responsibility to ensure the safety of physically and emotionally, and who you also have a responsibility to raise up to know right from wrong, and when they've been wronged, what to do about it, because they were wronged and they were wronged intentionally. And I feel this is a person who does this into adulthood. Whoever this is. I don't know where you're at on the timeline, because for some of you, there's some karmas that you have to wrap up with a child. And I think this is also karmas around understanding what innocence is. So innocence isn't necessarily being small. That can be naivete. That can be, it does increase the chance that there is a genuine ignorance here. But you have to look at the child in front of you, or you have to look at the person in front of you. Does this child that you raised, and you know what conversations you've had and you know what your expectations are, do they know right from wrong? And if they do, then again, the bar should get higher. When somebody does something wrong that they know is wrong, that bar should get higher. No, you're definitely grounded. You're definitely grounded. We're not just sweeping this under the rug. That's what this person is practiced, I think, their entire childhood, instead of being genuinely parented. And I think that they were a bully, but I think that they were a bully in this emotional way. And this is kind of leech-like quality. This is how they got attention maybe, or how they parasited. And I'm even seeing this go on in a friend group, but it goes on fairly undetected. There are definitely people who can see who this person is, but they don't. It's a way, this person controls the group dynamic because it's a way for the group to be split about them, where some people will say, oh, I think that person is genuinely ignorant. And there's other people that are saying they're 17. How could they be genuinely ignorant? It shouldn't be acceptable for them to be genuinely ignorant, and we still need to hold them to an age-appropriate standard. And the group can't kind of get on the same page about reflecting a consistent message back to this person or holding a particular boundary. This person could come from a dysfunctional family where the parents are fighting and they're trying to one-up each other instead of raise their children in the raising of they're trying to maybe be the favorite. This is also somebody who would exploit that, because they exploit emotions, their own, in order to put on a performance, because this person's cold. I mean, they really are. This person is cold, they're vengeful, they're envious, and they're calculated. But they've learned to wear a face of something else. And this person feels justified in their vengeance because I've heard it's a one-upmanship. They feel when they don't have, I feel like this person's spoiled here as well. They feel like when there's something that they don't have, that they've been victimized. And this has not been checked in this person as well. That sometimes you have things and sometimes you don't have things. Sometimes you have an innate skill and sometimes you don't. Doesn't mean that you're victimized. Or when someone else is doing better than you, that's just the cycles of life. You have your day in the sun and we all celebrate. This has not been taught to this child. And when something else was growing, I just heard, in this child, like in there, I'm seeing it in their second chakra and their solar plexus chakra, there's a fusing of that. And I feel like that's where a weird kind of aggression comes from, because it's like their confidence comes from flicking somebody in the face successfully, whoever their target is, and getting away with it, however that is. And I think a big part of that is this emotional dance, this emotional manipulation, where they just convince people not to look too closely. And I go back to what I'm talking about in the marches, like in that movie, is that it was just, we just have to get things back to a kind of peace. But this kind of peace is always going to be volatile because there's resentment and maybe a favoritism that is building beneath the surface. And I actually think whoever this is doesn't feel like they're the favorite, or they just get angry. This could be golden child kind of thing, where they just get angry whenever they're not the center of attention. Or they could be genuinely feel threatened by somebody else's something. And so they attack it. And they feel justified in doing that. Because there's aggression and there's success in that. And they'll do anything to be successful, which is why this is very manipulative coming through. Their success in doing that is what gives them this perverted sense of confidence. It's not a true confidence. I feel like this person also has no shame. And they do it, they distract themselves with their manipulation rather than looking too deeply at their behavior. And this is kind of giving narcissist, like how to raise a narcissist sort of a thing, because they live in their ego defense mechanisms. And this person just always feels justified in being aggressive. But it doesn't, So, and I want to go back to, I feel this is about understanding innocence and understanding what it is not. Because why this person is not innocent is because they know what they're doing. And that fact has been able to be seen, I think, or it should have been seen for like in their childhood. But I think this also, I don't know where you're at in the journey, because for some of you, this is like an op, like your op, somebody who you work with, somebody who, I don't know, they probably were aggressive towards you in some kind of way and then tried to play innocent about it. And that might have really just confused you or shocked you, why this grown adult is saying that they didn't know better about something you would expect a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old to be able to write a dissertation on. You see what I'm saying? So there's an age appropriateness that is not applied here. What do you mean you didn't know any better, Or something here like that. And you wonder where that comes from. And I just feel like this person's gotten away with it. I just feel this person has gotten away with it because they do this emotional manipulation where even adults are like, oh, you're innocent, you didn't mean to. They meant to, and they meant to. So why is this coming through? Page of Wands, they want to revive something here. But it's under the guise of clearing the air. You have to be careful about this person, okay? Because they use words like, I want to clear the air. But really, they just want to go around again, and they want to rehash something that you have put to bed because it's just objectively wrong and there is no talking about it, but they want to talk about it. And they really are just trying to cause you more pain. Yeah, I've got the Hydra energy coming through, the 8 of Wands. They want to send you a message, but the Hydra, it's like when you cut off one head, another one grows back. This person is like a plague that just like, if you get rid of this person, they just want to come back. They can't drop it. And that is because that weird fusing that I'm seeing between their solar plexus chakra and their second, the Muladhara chakra. It's because their confidence comes from being able to land pot shots. And either maybe this person hasn't gotten a fix in a while, because I imagine people do move away from this person unless it's like their primary target that they're trying, their primary supply or something like that, you know? And it would probably be a man or somebody, because that's the dynamic I'm seeing is like a man and a woman. And this is like, it started off father-child, you know, where the father mistook this particular child's youth or something for innocence when they're the one raising this child and they know that this child knows better. So they put this person in a box of a child as a child. I feel like that would grow up to be some kind of partner around them, or anybody that's in their seventh house, right? Whether it's a romantic partner, a best friend, a boss, they're able to co-opt this person. And it's because of a difference, I think, between the two of them. And so this person can just blanket say, well, all women are like this. And this person just kind of believes it. You know, you can't hold a woman accountable because, you know, we're just all naturally innocent and dumb, you know? And so this person's like, yeah, I was raised in a household that thinks that too. So I believe you. And I'm not going to look too deep. This person that they give these reasons of why somebody should not look at them as an individual. That's what this really is. They try to hide in certain categories, and they try to assign certain qualities. It's not necessarily traits, it's qualities like innocence to these categories. And this is kind of reminding me of the person that I always see with the like race car jacket on, where they have like the different sponsors. But with this person, it's like, well, I'm a mom and I'm a volunteer and you can suck and do all those things. You really can. It's just a mask. It's just a veneer. So that's what this person does. And they do it to be more effective at being a shithead. That's why they do it. So there's a real push here, spiritually speaking, to understand the intentionality behind someone's actions. What puts someone's actions into motion? What is the motivating force? And with this person, even their goodness is motivated by aggression and getting away with it. They wouldn't do good things if it wasn't required for them to be able to get away with something. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I feel like you're meant to see this. You haven't seen this before, and it's because you have refused for some reason. And I think it's just to not rock the boat. And it's because you probably have, especially if this is like you're parenting this child and I'm not saying this is like the worst child in the world. I am saying you need to nip it in the butt while they're little. In the bud. You need to nip it in the bud while they're little. You can't let them get away with the manipulation. You have to let them know that you can see the intention. You also have to let them know that you've been over this and you do expect them to be learning their lessons, integrating that, and it should show in their behavior. It's not tolerated. And that they need to look at what they did to another person and that they're responsible for cleaning up that mess. Then you know what that does? That shifts the dynamic. Now you're talking about how you make amends. Your sibling is not expected to forgive you. You behaved like trash. So how do you go about mending a relationship that you've broken? Well, isn't that a vital lesson a parent should teach their child, and it was never done here? I'm hearing that very specifically. It was never done. I feel like there was a lot of enablement. Oh my gosh, literally as I'm saying that, I feel tears coming down my face. So somebody is repenting. I feel like somebody is, I just heard challenge. They didn't want to rise to the challenge. And this is a challenging child. Like they're very hard-headed. I also think that they needed to possibly, again, if this is a dysfunctional family dynamic, they needed to clean up their own shit. So this child kind of reflects back, either because they're doing the same thing their parent did and they're seeing it in that child, but they're trying to bury their head in the sand, or it's like the antidote to this child not sucking and in the way, like nipping that in the bud, right, is that this parent has to confront their own nonsense. They have to confront their own shadow work. They have to admit that they've been wrong in a certain way, and they need to change that fundamentally within themselves. And I think it might have to do with being cooperative with another parent and just getting on the same page of like, look, we got a real problem on our hands here. And if we don't come together, this is going to create a tyrant that we will then unleash, not only on any other children that we have in this house, and this person's going to be used to getting away with that, and just absolutely, it will rip this family apart. These kids are not going to have each other in old age to be able to lean on each other because of us fucking up. And we can't do that at the very least. This is a real problem. This is a serious problem. And for some of you, you're dealing with the adult version, and your karmas, a lot of your karma, yeah, this person is a karmic to literally everyone. But it's with their parents. And I'm also hearing like in Vedic astrology, the protection thing of a father, they say that it's karmic to a father because father is karmically charged with protection of his family. And part of that is protection from evil eye. So a father is expected, not that a mother isn't too, but it ties in with the protective quality of the father, is that you know how to act when you go into a public space and when you have and when you engage in relationships with other people, because otherwise people talk about you. Otherwise you create enemies. Otherwise you paint a target on your back, don't you? So it's not love. This is codependency. And I feel like this is parent-child. I feel like this is parent-child. Some of you grew up in this household and this is like a sibling that is like weirdly obsessed with you. And I am getting that. There's a weird fixation thing that this person, it's like a picking quality. It's an obsession and it's a fixation. And for some, I'm really getting strong like with siblings here. And it's devil energy, and it needs to be impeded. It needs to be stopped early on. Of like, you have this weird fixation and you need to stop. They're like, this is aggressive and it's strategic, and they try not to be seen. It keeps coming back to that. Okay, there could have been a ghosting energy. Okay, so I just ask again in my mind, like, why is this coming through? And I got the Two of Swords, and in this card deck that I'm using, it's depicted as a ghost. So some of you are going to have ghosted, or there could have been a blocking. Okay, I'm strongly getting the sibling thing. If one of these siblings moved away, it's because the parents didn't raise this other child appropriately. And now they have this very aggressive force that masquerades as innocence. To be innocent of something, you have to be truly ignorant, and this person's not ignorant. When they put on their sad face, when they put on their, well, I didn't mean to face, yes, they did mean to. Yes, they did know better. And you know that they know better because you're the one raising them. I just heard, and it's on you if they don't know better. Well, my God, you're 25. You should have known better at 7. I really messed up with you. That's what's going on here. So this is the karmic repercussion of that. And I feel like that potentially is going on. Or again, for some of you, it definitely links back to childhood. This is definitely a dysfunctional family dynamic here, where this child was kind of running their parents and not the other way around. And these parents were just like not raising, they really fell on their face when it came to like the obligation to raise this child. But I also think there's like a sibling or other siblings that they're like potentially very jealous of. And were just allowed to punch out on this person. Yeah. And potentially, I don't know what side of this dynamic you're on. Take this however it's resonating. But yeah. And so somebody here is aggressive because they're aggressive about, I think it's this child that I'm picking up on. They don't know how to make amends. And they don't know that they need to own up to certain things. Nobody ever taught them that. They're just taught, I mess up, I quiver my lip, and then I just expect that somebody else will be made to tell me that everything's okay. And that's how we repair things in our family. I get to be the bully, and my victim is responsible for cleaning up the mess that I made. And nobody's going to be okay with that forever. That's really what I'm getting. They want some kind of a new beginning, and they're up in their head about it. But this isn't even real. It's not even coming from the right place. It's because they want to victimize this person again. And this other, whoever this is, if this is you, they know it. Everybody else knows it. Because this person doesn't exist in everybody's blind spot. They exist in a particular blind spot. And I think it has to do with the kind of group that they're in, especially as this person progresses into adulthood. And I think it would be gender for most of you. Or they would put themselves strategically in situations where it's like, well, I just moved here, so I'm in this particular group of like, because they like to feign ignorance because they get away with their bad behavior. And I think for some, it's like there is this kind of conscious, kind of subconscious, putting themselves in new groups or new situations in order to feign that ignorance because they don't know how to act. That's really what this is. This person does not know how to act. And they can't control themselves because they've never been made to control themselves. They've never been made to restrict their own behavior in a way that is cooperative, to be cooperative with a group. They've never done that. They've always been vengeful, acted from that place, cloaked it, and gotten away with it. And that's kind of wild to me. That's why I know something else is going on in this home, because at one point this person was 5 years old. They were 7 years old. They were 10 years old. And they're dealing with adults with fully functioning brains. So they're not running circles around these adults intellectually. I would hope not. So there's something else going on. There's something else like in the dynamic here. Something here that needs to change, some kind of lack mentality. Like these parents may be lacking in skill and needing to take a class or something, working together in some way instead of being manipulative and therefore manipulated is what I'm getting. Manipulative and therefore manipulated. Because if they're not willing to address their own manipulative tendency, then they can't they can't hold somebody else accountable, and they kind of know it. Yeah, this is a karmic cycle, and they've created their own blockage. They've created their own blockage here. And it's with some kind of past. Yeah, it's a past. It's something's coming strong from the past, and that's the truth. So I don't know where you're dealing with this person. Some of you are dealing with the adult version of this in your workplace. I literally just saw these two parents have a karmic contract with like the whole town because of what they did. Like anybody that this person comes across in this energy, these parents are not entirely responsible because this person's an adult, but they have some level of culpability in that. Yeah. Like where the parents are now karmic to everybody that this person like abuses because they didn't raise it's like, I just heard, and by their fruits you shall know them. Because I go back to what I was saying about like they have to address their own manipulation or their own coldness. Because for some, like these parents could just be like very like cold, hard ambition kind of thing. And they're not paying attention to the heart chakra things. And so they just want to focus on their career, or they just want to. So when there's a disagreement between the siblings, it's just, you need to make amends. Because there's a child here that's more cooperative than another, I think. And they just use that against this child instead of protecting it. And that goes back to another thing that I was saying of there are things worth protecting, and you have to protect innocence. You have to protect innocence. Okay, so that's what I have for you. If that resonates, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.